What is going on with this year? All of these people have had allegations on them, and there's still more coming out.
Yeah, I will always be a warrior. You can't stop me. You can't stop me now.
What's up, guys? It's Ace, and we're back at it with another one. Hopefully, you're having a blessed and wonderful day. And if you enjoy the content, drop a like, subscribe, comment down below. It always helps with the algorithm. And I would also like to know what y'all would like to see, different kinds of reactions or discussions or anything like that. Apparently, Kris did give a response yesterday. It was a response. It doesn't mean it was a good one. Does not mean that at all. It does not mean that it was a well-written response, because in my opinion, he probably should went to the Manny Show to learn how to do a response, because the Manny Show actually did one of the best YouTube apologies I have seen.
As Dr. Disrespected only a few weeks ago regarding interactions with one of his biggest fans, who at the time was 13 years old.
Kris has apparently been accused of grooming after everything had came out. There was a twit logger that came off where Prism had, shout out to Prism too, but he showed messages between Kris and some of the employees and ex-employees that were affiliated with the Mr.Beast brand, and apparently Mr.Beast had known
in these old tweets to make more underage art. And these aren't just some old 2017 edgy jokes that Kris is making towards this guy. No, this is actually Kris wanting to see this stuff. Kind of collectively agreed that if you were groomed and if something weird did happen, you probably don't know that it was taking place since you were so young. You didn't really know what was happening.
So I wanted to give a shout out to Prism for shedding light on the fact that Kris has been talking to minors. He's been talking to 13, 14, 15. I don't even, the ages have been changing around. It's between those ages, but it's from Lava GS. And even he lies to a point, because he said there was no private messages, but the messages that were being shared was that of a Snapchat logger.
She sent pictures to her boyfriend, her now ex-boyfriend, and he leaked them out. And but the link's in the description if you want to see them. I mean, I'm not endorsing people to go look at somebody else's private business, but I know that you know, people might want to see them, so it's there if you want it.
That's crazy. That's astonishing. Sharing revenge porn publicly?
So a lot of people are saying that, yeah, maybe he doesn't think that he got groomed, but he really did. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not he got groomed, because I don't know. I'm not that invested in this whole situation. But what's important about this tweet is that by him tweeting that he was not groomed, by him denying those allegations, he is confirming that he did message Kris when he was underage. So
the worst part about this too is Lava G was so comfortable with the fact, because he says he wasn't groomed, which I'm not going to say he was, but I'm also going to say that most people who are actually groomed and had went through the grooming process don't even know they're groomed. But Lava G was so comfortable with this, though, that he actually publicly on Twitter asked Kris about his hentai addiction. Yep. He actually asked that. And this kind of stuff right here is what makes it seem like Kris is a creep. I hate to say it, but it does. It does not make him look good at all. Even to a point where they were sharing horrible messages talking about nudes and stuff like that to each other. And he was the age of 14 at the time. That was confirmed. He says it wasn't anything, which I'm not going to say it was, and I'm not going to say it wasn't. All I'm going to say is, me as a man, if I turn around and I sent messages to a 13-year-old, it does not look fucking good. It does not matter how you try to ravel your mind around it. If you ask a 14-year-old saying, I'm going to send nudes if you do this donation, it won't look good. It actually does make you look fucking terrible. To be honest, these messages had actually made me cringe. As a 14-year-old, if he sent nudes to the 14-year-old, he's about to bear witness to something and nobody can come back from. I don't care. I would be like trying to send nudes to a futanari. Yes, this whole fucking thing has led down a rabbit hole of hell. I've learned a lot of shit that I didn't want to fucking learn, like what the hell a furry does. And doing all this research, I have learned so much fucking shit that I wish I could put Dawn dish liquid in my brain and re-cleanse it. Because this shit was just disgusting.
All these screenshots and Discord DMs that came out that were allegations of Kris saying weird things to this fan who was underage at the time now are retroactively proven to be true.
Lavi G also tries to defend Kris, but only after he deleted his affiliation with Mr.Beast. Now, what do I mean by he tried to defend Kris? He posted false information. So Supreme Society, Society, posted some videos about what I posted about, which is the fact that this dude had owned CP in animated form. And Lava G had turned it and twisted it to where now everybody is going after Society and Achido and them because they think that they're transphobic whenever that's not even the case. It was the fact of the art that he was owning was destructive to people's mentality, including his own. Because from what I have read about, Loli actually does lead to fetishes of pedophilia.
Random question, just because the whole Vosh drama is going on right now in the background. What is there in your experience any actual overlap between like the anime lolly and actual porn?
Yes. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's downstream almost every time, and because the thing with lolly, it's a representation of a child that you're jacking off to. It's like you in your mind, it is a child. The same way hentai is some woman with big tits, right? So, yeah, I think everybody that's into Loli would also be into children.
And it does lead to fetishes of forcing. I can't say the actual word, the R word, because YouTube's algorithm just wants to all over the fucking place. And it is not correct because what Lava G did post was a misinformation because nobody even knew about that situation. All we knew was that this dude had lolly and brutal, fucked up depictions of different things. I said the Daphne Keane thing actually made me feel physically disturbed. That was the most disturbing fucking thing. Like, even the Last House on the Left movie, I don't think made me feel as disturbed as this. And don't get me wrong, that is a fucked up disturbing movie too. That one and I Spit on Your Grave are some of the most disturbing movies you can watch. But this is a real life person doing this, and nobody is finding it fucking creepy or disturbing or weird. Lava G also tried to claim that there was no private messages. Whenever Prism released the messages, it was of Snapchat DMs. Snapchat DMs are private messages that auto-delete after 24 hours, usually. Depending on how you have your settings. Maybe I don't even fucking hardly get on Snapchat. I can't remember the last time I messaged somebody on Snapchat. Fucking hate social media. Social media is the worst thing in the world because you got shit like this.
My life. I'm gonna break this down how bad this tweet actually is. I could find 10 things wrong with just the first sentence. I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments. Okay, fair enough. Kris is apologizing, that's good. But this next thing that it says is idiotic. It said, if it hurt or offended anyone. If, Kris? If it hurt or offended anyone, you got caught looking at drawings of minors. What do you mean, if? And then they said, it was not my intent. What? What does that even mean? How could it not be your intent? How is it not your intent when you intentionally ask an artist to draw a not safe for work image of an underage cartoon character? All right, let me move on to the rest of the tweet and show you how bad the rest of it is. Kris goes on to say, seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things Mr. Beast. We've. So when he says we've, I'm assuming that has to mean Kris Tyson and Mr. Beast.
Kris did announce in a tweet though that he was leaving the Mr. Beast brand. The tweet, in my personal opinion, was actually abhorrent. It was just fucking terrible. It was one of the worst apologies I had ever read. Because he says, if I hurt, or if it had hurt or offended someone. If? What the fuck do you mean by if? It did. You're depicting kids, literally kids being molested. And you're turning around, mate, and twisting the story to where you're trying to make it into you're the victim. Like everybody's transphobic. And that's not the case. I worked with trans people before. I've been friends with trans people before. One of them was a girl named Nikki. Or well, Nikki's boyfriend or girlfriend. They were in the middle of transitioning. I don't know if they have yet. But her boyfriend was really fucking cool. Man, he's trans. Don't care. I don't care as long as you're not fucking forcing it down my goddamn throat. God, though, I need to come up with some better wordings. He didn't even acknowledge the art either that he had possessed. He completely bypassed that and instead went only towards the allegation of him grooming, which is fucked up because then that means he's not acknowledging the situation that we're talking about. Everybody's bringing up a situation that nobody has even brought up and or mentioned. But in my opinion, the message he sent you, buddy, Lava G, is still fucked up because you were 13. We are grown-ass men. We shouldn't be sending 13 or 14-year-olds that shit. Doesn't matter if it's a joke. Doesn't matter if it's friendly. You do not talk about sending nudes to a 14-year-old. You're fucked in the head. And with that also being said, though, it's like they completely changed the situation. That's what pisses me off about this. Nobody was talking about him being trans. Nobody was talking about him grooming anybody. Nobody was even talking about him being an actual pedophile. Everybody was talking about the fact that he owned CP and Loli and destructive art. And to me, it's like he self-snitched. That's the way I'm taking it. Because if nobody brings something up, man, my fucking lip, my beard is itchy. But if nobody brought something up and then you just immediately claim, I'm not that, well, then everybody's going to think that you're that because to the human mind, it's like self-snitching. It's reverse psychology. So I don't get why he doesn't even care that he owned Loli or he hasn't even acknowledged that he has owned Loli or CP. Then he is taking time away for mental health. Mental fucking health. He's taking time for mental health. This dude has caused more mental distress to everybody. So why is he taking time off for his own mental health? Can't make this shit up. Like, for real, because I'm going to talk to him directly. Kris, you have hurt people, and you're still playing fucking victim. That is exactly what Mini Lad had done, and look what has happened. Every time he tries to come back to the internet, everybody hates him, because if you don't acknowledge a situation, it's so much worse for you. So much worse for everybody. Because people don't forget. People will remember. People latch on to what you do. You're an influencer. You influence. You're there. No matter what you might think, even if it's like me, 260 people. Or if it's like Jacksepticeye where it's 17, 20 million people. That won't matter. What matters is the fact that you're still influencing a select number of people. It doesn't matter if it's one. It doesn't matter if it's 5 million. You're influencing. And if you're influencing them with stuff like this, you're influencing their brains to do pedophilia type work because most predator hunters say that Loli does go into CP and does become pedophilia. It's like anything else. When you start drugs, you start with probably cigarettes, then you start with weed. I know because I've been down that path. I've done it before. I did it for 5 years before quitting. But you start out with cigarettes, then you go to weed, then you go to meth, then you go to coke. It's the same fucking thing with this. You start with Loli, then CP, then actually doing the shit. There's no difference.
But they're stepping away also to focus on their family. That's right, I'm sure you all know this, but Kris Tyson has like a 4-year-old son. So Kris, after all this comes out, now you say you want to focus on your family? Your 4-year-old son? What exactly does that mean? I think there's a genuine case to be made that Kris should have to be supervised when he's with his son. I'm
also spend time with his 4-year-old son, the same 4-year-old son that he had dressed up in high fucking heels. I believe so. I believe he was 4 at that time. And I feel a certain way about this, knowing that I am a father of my daughter, and I will protect my daughter. I don't care if I will have to go to war with school districts. I don't care if I got to go to war with different governments. My daughter is my duty and my sole job to protect. So whenever you're doing something like this, This shit needs to actually end for real because you're not protecting him. You're actually influencing him to become something like what you're doing. It's a family lineage. They say that pedophiles, whenever pedophiles harm kids, that kid is 90% more likely to grow up being the exact same way. It's not a guarantee. I'm not going to say that because there are people that have been molested that got out of the situation and was safe. And I'm so happy for y'all, and I pray for y'all every day that y'all's life gets better because that is a hard situation to come back from. The fact that he said all this, and there's so much bullshit going on. There's so much shit going on in this fucking world, and I'm sick of it. But everybody now thinks Joe Biden went missing. Like, what the fuck? But until next time, y'all, peace out. Drop a like, subscribe, comment down below, and hopefully y'all enjoyed. I'm just hoping that this shit fucking ends because we got to get predators off these platforms, especially Twitch, fucking YouTube, like even Kick. I know Kick. Everybody shits on Kick, but it is what it is. We need to try to get all these people off. Till next time, y'all, peace out and stay blessed.